What is going on, everybody? Justin here with Alpha Wash, and I wanted to show you today what all equipment that I think you need for starting a pressure washing company. There's no set right or wrong equipment to start a pressure washing company, but if you follow what I'm going to tell you in this video, it'll help make the journey a little easier for you. I wish I would have had a video like this to watch when I was getting into pressure washing, because I started with a 2.5 gallon per minute pressure washer that I got from Tractor Supply. And I used to drag it out of the back of my truck, and I had hoses just rolled up in the back of my truck, and it was a pain. I definitely spent more time moving the pressure washer around, unloading stuff out of my truck than I did actually pressure washing. So follow this and it might help you out a little bit. I'd say the budget for this is going to be somewhere around $3 grand. So if you've got $3 grand to invest, you can get some pretty decent equipment and go out there and knock out some jobs and make some money. So we're going to get a little breakdown going on the board for you. All right, so on the board right here, we've got our pressure washer, soft wash, hoses plus reels, our tips, the surface cleaner, wands, and our tools and etc. So the first thing we're going to go over, and this is just, once again, this is my recommendation to you as far as what pressure washer I recommend starting with. So I'm a big fan of belt drive machines, and a belt drive machine doesn't have to be fed water. A belt drive machine can actually pull water. So hook it up to a buffer tank and you can pull water from it. So I recommend a 5 gallon per minute belt drive. And that's going to be about 3,000 PSI. And that machine's going to cost you somewhere around 1,500 bucks. And the machine's probably going to come with about 50 foot of hose. It's going to come with a 15, a 0, 25, and a 40-degree tip. And that's going to be your white, red, yellow, and green tip. And those should be somewhere around, I want to say a 5 orifice, but we keep a chart of it in our rig, so I never remember it off the top of my head, so don't take my word on the orifice size. But for the soft wash, so I'm going to put 2 different options here. So obviously you can start with a 12-volt pump, like a 5 gallon per minute Everflow pump, and that's going to be somewhere around 100 bucks. And you could just batch mix the bleach and the water into a tank 50-50 and spray it out like that, and that would be your most cost-effective soft washing setup for washing roofs. And I'm sure that's how a lot of people start. That's how I started. But I'm gonna put one more option up here, and this is gonna be somewhere around 800 to 1,000 bucks. So, and that's gonna be an air soft wash. So the first one is 5 gallon per minute Everflow, and that's the 12 volt. And that's gonna be somewhere around $100. So the second one is going to be, so I don't remember the name of the air compressor we use, but it's the orange air compressor. It's like a contractor grade. It's got a Honda gas engine on it, and we've got a, I believe it is a Everflow pump on there. It is a, it's a black pump. It costs around 229 bucks, and it's 10 gallon per minute. So you'd have somewhere around, and if you get a proportioner to mix your bleach and water out, you're gonna have another 200 bucks in it. So it's gonna be somewhere around 1,000 bucks. So we're just gonna put 10 gallon per minute air soft wash. So in my opinion, yes, that is a huge price difference, but this right here will allow you to make way more thousands of dollars without stopping and working on this 5 gallon per minute Everflow 12 volt pump. So if you got the money, I highly recommend going ahead and going with an air soft wash. I'll make a video on that in the future of our exact soft wash setup and how to build it and everything like that. But yes, if you've got the money, I highly recommend you go with that one. So if you've got the money to start with a hose reel, some that are cheap, that are pretty good quality, is General Pump. And I believe they're around 100 bucks, maybe a little over 100 bucks. And I'd go ahead and recommend getting 3 of them. Even if you're working on the back of your truck and you don't want to mount any hose reels up, you could just set the 3 hose reels back there, and I promise it'll make your life easier instead of trying to roll these hoses up by hand. So general pump hose reel, that's 3 of them, and one's for your high pressure hose line, one's for your soft wash line, and one is for your water line. So that's gonna be somewhere around, let's just say 350. And this is gonna be around 1,500. All right, so surface cleaner. So there's 2 that I recommend that are pretty affordable and are pretty good surface cleaners. So the 16-inch general pump, that's a good one. And the 20-inch BE surface cleaner, and that is a yellow surface cleaner, and that's also a good one. And they're both around 300, 350, somewhere around there. And either one of those will do fine. So we got the 16-inch general pump, 20-inch BE. So those are gonna be somewhere around 350 bucks. So for the tips, all right, so there's a couple different tips that I recommend. And this will get you by almost every job. This is pretty much all we use. So for the pressure washer, we're obviously gonna use the tips that come with it. And pretty much out of those tips, the only one that we ever use is the white one, the 40-degree tip, and we use that when we're pressure washing wood. So we're gonna write pressure washer to start with. So 40-degree tip, and then the M5 twist tip. Man, that thing is awesome for washing houses. So you wanna make sure you get the one that's for the 5 gallon per minute, and you can twist the tip and go from a fan to a shooter tip, and you can spray anywhere from the ground up to 3 stories with that. So M5. And then the last one that we use a lot is the turbo tip, and our guys love using the turbo tip, and we use that on brick and things like that. So, and you want to make sure that you get it for the right gallon per minute. And then for the soft wash, we use a J-rod, and the J-rod we use is for the 5 gallon per minute orifice. And if you don't know what a J-rod is, you can just Google it, but it's basically 4 pressure washing tips that are welded together. And it hooks onto the end of your pressure washer, and one of them's a fan tip, or there's 2 fan tips and 2 shooter tips. So, and if you ever lose your M5 tip, you can also use it out of your pressure washer. So 4 tips total, and that'll pretty much take care of everything for you. That's basically the only 4 tips that our guys use. So as far as hoses go, so you're gonna need hose for your pressure washer, you're gonna need hose for your soft wash, and you're gonna need a water line. So for the water line, I recommend having at least 100 feet of 3/4 inch water hose. And I'm not peculiar on what type of brand it is, as long as you get a contractor grade. We use the Flexzilla hose, and it's 3/4 inch. And the 3/4 inch will really give you a better flow than like a 5/8 inch. So we're gonna write 1, 2, 3 for the types of hoses. 1, 2, 3. One is 3/4 inch. Flexzilla. Number 2 is going to be your soft wash hose. And for that, I recommend going with 5/8 inch Flexzilla. So on your main water line, you want about 100 feet because you're generally going to be able to park pretty close to the water spigot. So for your soft wash line, you're going to want about 200 feet on there. So you can go all the way around the property, or you can go up on the top of the roof or something like that. So for your third hose, you're going to need your high pressure line. And that's going to be coming from your pressure washer. So usually we keep about 200 feet on ours. So that means that you're going to need to buy 3 50-feet sections, and I highly recommend doing it in 50-feet sections instead of 100-feet sections, because if a 100-feet section blows, you're out 100 feet of line. Whereas if you've got it in 50-foot sections, if you have a blowout, you can just take that section off, or swap that section out with a new 50-foot section and be back good to go. 200 feet, high pressure hose, and 200 feet, and we're going to write right here 50 feet sections. There. So for your tools, so I recommend just getting like a little pre-made toolbox that's got a little bit of an assortment of everything in it. You want to make sure you have pliers, sockets, wrenches, everything like that. So we're just going to put tool set, and you're going to want some ladders. I recommend about a 28-foot, anywhere from a 20 to a 28-foot extension ladder, aluminum extension ladder. And you're going to want to make sure you have a ladder stabilizer on it so you're not leaning on people's gutters and putting dents on them and things like that. Extension ladder. So for wands, so you're going to pretty much want, you can just use the wand that comes with it when you buy the machine. That's going to be your long wand. But for us, when we're soft washing, we like to use the handheld wands. So, and I believe we use the Stuttner guns. They're the black and blue guns. I can't remember the exact number on them. But we go through guns pretty often. Probably because we don't do as good of a job rinsing them out as we should. So I'm just going to write on here long wand, short wand, and the short wand is going to be for when you're downstream in houses with the M5 tip. So that's pretty much everything that you need to go out and start making some money pressure washing. So it's really not a high cost business, and this is just, like I said, this is just equipment. This doesn't cover anything else, but you could get this equipment for somewhere around, I'd say if you bought all this, you're gonna spend somewhere around $3 grand, maybe $3,500, somewhere in there, but you're definitely gonna be able to get your money back quick, and you're gonna be able to continue to make money. So hope y'all can find some value in this. I'm gonna get out of the way so y'all can see this board real quick, and we will catch y'all later.